Is your body made of spaciousness? Well, it's time to find out. This is the second part in a 3-part series about liberating our bodies from form. The first one was about theory of non-duality, and this is the part where we dig into our experiences, where we actually go to how we relate to our own bodies. My name is Josephine, and you're listening to Consciousness and Me. Let's start with exploring where you go when you reference your body. Do you go to your experiences of your body, the way your body is alive for you right now? Or do you go to an image of your body? Or a thought, some kind of mental concept of your body? And this can be quite subtle. It's not so easy to catch the difference. But there is a very crucial difference, because if we reference a thought of our body, we're not actually referencing our body. Let's say, for instance, we think about something else than our bodies. Let's think about an object that exists outside of my inner realm. Let's take something practical, like let's say a knitted blanket. And if I want to know more about this blanket, I have an idea of it in my head, so I can go to the idea. I can look at it and I can ask, oh, what color is it? Well, it's yellow. Okay, well, how big is it? Well, it's about yay big. Okay. But if I want to find out more about the blanket than I've ever known before, if I reference my idea of the blanket, I cannot zoom in any deeper than what I already know about it. Let's say, for instance, someone asks me, well, how tightly knitted is this blanket? Like, how many millimeters are the thread? If I've never thought about that, that detail won't be in the idea of the blanket. I can zoom in forever on my idea of the blanket, but since it doesn't contain that data, I won't find out by thinking about the blanket. Because the thinking, my image, isn't actually the blanket. I have to go and look for the blanket and actually explore it in the moment. I have to interact with it in order to find out how big the thread is or how fine the thread is. That's information that isn't available in my mind, and the reason is because the blanket isn't in my mind. The blanket isn't the idea of the blanket. The blanket has its own answers. It has its own data point. And whatever I learn about the blanket now, I can store in my mind. But if I want to know more about the blanket, if I actually want the truth in this moment, I have to go to the actual thing. And the same is true for our bodies. If we reference an idea of our bodies, sometimes it can be almost like you can see the form of your body floating in your mind. And if I say, think about your elbow, you almost zoom in on your elbow in this image or mental construct. But then you're not actually going to your elbow, you go to the memory of your elbow. If you're actually going to go to your elbow, it's almost like you have to exit thought. You have to go to the lived experience. You have to go to the sensations of the elbow. Does that make sense? And the reason I'm pointing it out is because during this exploration, we want to avoid going to the idea of our bodies. We want to go to our actual bodies. And you might find yourself flipping back and forth. Like you realize, oh, now I went to the idea of my body rather than going to the lived sense. And usually when we speak about a body, it can be convenient to have an image in their head of our bodies. But when we actually want to live in our bodies, we want to experience it, then that image might create more distance, less intimacy. And then we might even actually start to believe that that is our body. And then we limit it. We limit it a lot. How do you experience your body right now? Is there any sensations coming from it? If you can't reference your mind, your memory of your body, you have to interact with it on sensations alone. It can be any sensation. For me, for instance, I can feel the couch that I'm sitting on against my back and my legs. So if I go to that sensation, and I invite you to do the same, to actually go there, as in not go there in your body, but go to the sensation internal to you. Does it arise at a distance from you, or is it arising inside of you? And notice if thoughts are coming in that's saying, oh, this is sensations from my lower back. Now that's a thought. The sensation is in itself is quite pure. It doesn't have much cognitive explanations to it. It's raw. And does it feel, or I'd like to suggest that it does, but check for yourself. This is not a teaching. This is a workshop. It's an exploration. It's a journey. I'd like to suggest it's actually more like fireworks in the sky. It's like something is appearing inside a vaster space, inside of your consciousness. And to maybe bring it home even more, imagine that you had no past. Imagine that almost like a newborn baby, you hadn't even opened your eyes. And the first sensation you have is of your own body, but you don't know it's your body yet. So it's basically just a sensation. Something feels cold. Let's say something feels cold against your hand, but you don't know you have a hand. You've just been born. There is just awareness and some noise going on. Emotions, sensations, smells. But you don't know that. You don't have that vocabulary. You don't have that reference point. You are just awareness being rattled with sensations. Imagine if you can go to your own sensations like that. Would you actually map out any kind of sensation in your body? You could go with the one you had, or let's say you touch your hand against something else, maybe against the sofa or something. If you go to the raw sensation, does it say anything about a hand? Is it even placed anywhere in space? If you close your eyes and just goes to the sensation. Does it appear in space at a decided location further away from you? Or is it just erupting inside? And during this episode, the pause button is your friend. If you want to go back and explore it more, then please do. And if you were to go up and touch this sensation, like from the inside, actually not touching the sofa, but as if the sensation that's appearing inside of your consciousness, if you go to that, is it made of anything solid? Or is it more like a vibration inside of consciousness? Is it really made of any other fabric than consciousness? And when it goes away, you can do it over and over. You can touch it and you can stop, and you can touch it and you can stop, and really explore. Is something coming in to the world? Like, is something new, a new substance created? Or is it almost like there's a stillness and then something starts moving or vibrating, and when you remove your finger, it goes back to stillness? Because I like to suggest that when we go to the raw experience and leave thought out of it, the game, then that's what it feels like. Then your body actually doesn't exist as a shape around you. Rather, it erupts inside of you with all of the sense perceptions you have: sound, smell, all the sense perceptions. They're just like firecrackers happening in the night sky. And I don't remember, probably none of us do, but I'd like to suggest or guess that that's what it's like to be a baby. Before you have mapped the world into a cognitive space, into a mental construct, that's how you experience the world. And then slowly when you grow up, you start to map the fact that what I see through my eyes and when I feel sensations that correlate to this kind of sensation, then I can map them. I can almost like build a model in my head that I keep referring to. And that's very useful because if something's aching, if there's like pain in this vibration, good for me to know that it's coming from my finger, and then I can do something about it. But that doesn't mean, oh, I rushed myself, let's go back. It's useful to call that place or that kind of sensation finger, because then I can use my other sense perceptions and map them together. So they're useful, but that doesn't make them true. And if you watch the first episode, I talked about the dream analogy. When you touch your finger in your dream, you have the same sensation as if you're touching your hand now. It's just when you wake up from the dream, you realize that there was no finger. We can make it even more clear. Let's say you dream that you are a penguin and you have little flippers. And if something touches your flipper, you can look out through your penguin eyes and see that something's touching the flipper. Your body never morphed into a penguin. And when you wake up, you realize that no, there was never a flipper. But that's what your dream visual perceptions told you. And this is the suggestion we're suggesting now. It's useful to map eyesight and sensation to this place in consciousness. The notion that we have a body and we talk about having a body, that's just a useful language. Actually what it is we're mapping different kind of sensations: sight, sound, smells, texture. And we make kind of a map that's coherent and useful, but not necessarily true. Notice what happens in your body. You start to experience it more as fireworks in the night sky, rather than referencing the shape of your body or the thought of the shape of your body. It can be terrifying and it can be quite yummy. Does it have an impact on you? If it's terrifying, or if it creates this feeling of fear, it could almost feel like, oh my God, I'm losing my body. But your body is not falling out of form. Either it is form or it isn't. The way you think about it doesn't dissolve something that was solid. If I think that I'm a frog, I'm not going to metamorph into a frog. It's just my idea of my body is going to shift. So thinking about it as fireworks in the night sky, or the way we used to reference it as a body, is not actually going to change what it is. It just changes our understanding of it. Dropping the idea of our body and going to the raw experiences. Why do we even want to do that? Well, either you got a sense of it in this episode, or join me on the next one. We'll discuss a bit of what it's like living with a body that's been freed from form. I hope to see you over there.